What's up, everybody? It's another Semrush webinar. It's the 11th of March, 2021. I don't know how we're 3 months into the year already, but I'd like you to join us today with introducing Jimmy Newson. Jimmy, how are you, sir?
I am doing fantastic. How are you, Tristram?
I'm very well, thank you. And just to say quickly, I'm tuning in, or I'm hosting from Brighton in the UK. Jimmy, where are you at the moment?
I am in New York. I'm on Long Island, about an hour from Manhattan.
Oh, nice. Is it still nice and chilly there, or are you starting to see a bit of spring?
Actually, it's almost 60 degrees. So I went outside today without a hat on.
Oh, nice. The small pleasures in life, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
And just to say to the audience, we'd love to know where you're tuning in from today. So just drop into the comments where you're joining us from, and we'll give you a little shout out as well. But whilst we're waiting for everyone to come in, Jimmy, do you just want to introduce yourself and why we're here today?
Yeah, definitely. Guys, my name is Jimmy Newson, the profit producer. I'm the founder of Jimmy Newson Consulting and Moving Forward Small Business. I'm also the senior advisor for the New York Marketing Association. So what does all that mean? That means that I talk to a lot of businesses in a lot of different industries. And that's a great thing because I get to kind of see a lot of what makes the businesses unique, but I also get to see a lot of commonalities, things that all these businesses have in common. And today we're going to be talking about lead magnets. Now, some of you may have ideas of what a lead magnet is. Some of you may have no clue what a lead magnet is. You're just like, I think I need to know what it is. And at the end of the day, I'm going to open up what a lead magnet is and really expand on how you can leverage a lead magnet and how it can mean a lot more than you probably think it does. And then finally, I'm going to actually walk you through how you can actually create one that someone actually wants to read.
Awesome. We've chatted previously before this webinar about what we were going to be covering today, so I'm super excited. So if you are sat there thinking, I like the sounds of this, but where do I start? Then I feel like you're in the right place today and you're in safe hands with Jimmy. Also, just for me to chime in quickly, I think from having a look at your presentation, Jimmy, the lead magnet process is going to be interesting because it's not just creating a lead magnet, isn't it? It can be used for link building tactics and brand awareness. So if you're sat there not too sure what a lead magnet is, or you're sort of maybe just learning about lead magnets, there's more to it than just attracting clients, or it works in more than one way. But obviously we are focusing on lead magnets today. And just quickly to throw it to the audience, I'd love to know, just with a simple Y for yes or an N for no, have you created any lead magnets before? Just so we are waiting for everyone to come in and we can see who's been creating them previously. And also, whilst we're waiting for that, I should probably reintroduce myself. I'm Tristan Jarman, here in Brighton, co-founder of Purpose Munch Digital Marketing Agency for all your SEO and PPC needs. But without further ado, let's see how many people we've got in and see if we are ready to roll. Jimmy, how are you fit to get going?
I'm ready to rock. I'm always ready, man. I'm always
excellent.
Ready.
And so just for everyone watching from home or in your office, wherever you may be today, just so everyone's aware, this session is being recorded, so you can watch it back to your heart's content, so you don't need to frantically take down Jimmy's knowledge in note form. The presentation will also be available after this session has finished. So as I say, you're in safe hands and you'll have all this information to watch back again and again. And just quickly, we are getting some feedback. So we've got, it's almost half and half at the moment of who said they have created lead magnets to who haven't. So either way, I'm excited to get this going, Jimmy. So if you're happy, I will hand the reins over to you and we'll get going. Oh, I'm sorry, whilst Jimmy's doing that, I should add, if you do have any questions, please pop them in the chat box. I'll get them to Jimmy as quick as I can throughout the presentation. We're not doing necessarily a solid Q&A at the end, so just ask your questions throughout, and I will annoyingly interrupt Jimmy where I see fit.
Yeah, and that's not a problem at all. So just so everybody knows, I will be going a little fast. So it's excuse me. So like I said, it's like Tristan said, it is being recorded. So feel free to just kind of follow along more than anything. And if you do have questions, definitely drop them in the chat and we'll try to get to them all. But I will go ahead and get started. And this is all about, so when we say lead magnets, we're really still talking about lead generation. So if you're trying to generate leads for your business, this is where you need to be. So we're going to talk about creating the perfect lead magnet for attracting your ideal client, and how you can make this your number one source of generating new leads. And so I'm going to, closer to the end, I'm going to actually talk about one of my clients who in one day alone generated 21 leads off of one of the lead magnets we created for him. And understand that through the campaign, we were doing an average of 3 to 8 leads a day, and you'll see and the question is, what is the quality of the lead? And so you'll see the way we structured the lead magnet, the quality of the leads were very high. So let's go ahead and get started. I kind of told you a little bit more. I told you a little bit about me. I have certifications with Semrush, HubSpot, Google. You can reach out to me directly at jimmynewson.com. But I'm not going to go any further because I want to get right into this whole thing. And so the first question is, what is a lead magnet? And a lead magnet is a term that's used in marketing to refer to a freebie in exchange for someone's contact information. Now, a lead magnet can come in all types of shapes and sizes, which include downloadable eBooks, reports, checklists, white papers, but it's not just a PDF document. It can also be free trials, subscriptions, strategy calls, consultations, web audits, anything that allows you to turn a prospect to a lead or a lead to a customer can be classified as a lead magnet. And I'm going to show you the types of lead magnets at all 3 levels of the buying cycle: at the top of the funnel, the middle of the funnel, and the bottom of the funnel. Now, according to HubSpot, companies with 30 or more opt-in bribes or lead magnets generate 7 times more leads than companies with 10 or less. Does that mean, am I telling you to go and create 30 lead magnets? Definitely not. But you have the opportunity to create as many as you see fit. And I call these doorways. So the more doorways you have into your business, the more opportunities you have to generate new business, generate new leads, generate more activity coming in, because you're always leading with something of value. And that's what these lead magnets are. There's something of value to help someone solve a problem or achieve a goal. Okay, so what we're going to learn today, we're going to look at a step-by-step process of creating a great high-converting lead magnet. We're going to talk about choosing target keywords based on your niche, industry, product, or service. We're going to talk about picking the best supporting subtopics. We're going to talk about how to find and leverage the exact questions that are being asked of your target audience, the systems that need to be in place to support the lead magnet. Because it's one thing for you to create the lead magnet. It's another thing to have a system in place to support, people finding it, opting in, downloading it, and then you nurturing them to the point where they're in a position to take action, and hopefully that action is to engage you, your products, and your services. And then I'm going to show you some examples of some lead magnets, including, like I said, the one that generated 21 leads in a single day. All right, so let's get started here by talking about the type of lead magnets that are available. And this is just a list, and there's so many more that could possibly and probably be added to this. But we'll look at the top of the funnel, the middle of the funnel, and the bottom. So let's look at some lead magnets that we could use at the top of the funnel. And so the top of the funnel is your awareness stage. So this is where people are having the lead magnets is positioned more to help someone identify and solve a problem, versus it being more branded where your name, your company is on it, which is more of a middle of the funnel or bottom of the funnel type of lead magnet. So here is cheat sheets, checklists, toolkits, resource guides, free reports, video training, depending on the type of video, quizzes, calculators, anything that gets people to do something that could be digested quickly. Some of the top lead magnets at the top of the funnel are usually like checklists and resource guides and cheat sheets. They can usually be 1 to maybe 3 pages, and they can be consumed in like 5 minutes or less. What you want to deliver here is a quick win, something that they can do quickly, get excited about, solve a problem, and now they want more. So, a 30-page ebook is not a top of the funnel lead magnet. That is what I would consider middle of the funnel. And I'll show you how we would connect that with a top of the funnel lead magnet. So there's some type of journey that someone can take. So this is kind of the top of the funnel type stuff. Middle of the funnel could be a software download, a case study, account registration, free shipping, webinars. This webinar is a middle of the funnel for me, And what was the top of the funnel? The top of the funnel, there wasn't exactly a top of the funnel. Top of the funnel is you either came through one of our partners, Semrush, or some of my partners, or even on my list, because I've already gotten you on. So that's why a webinar is considered a lead magnet, because it could convert someone to the next level for me, or even for Semrush. Okay. SMS notifications, early birds, you offer a special deal, which pushes them down the funnel to the decision stage, where they can now take the next step and then become more familiar with your brand, and then understand that you could possibly be the solution to the problem that they seek to solve. Certification programs, free samples. And then if we look at the bottom of the funnel, we can look at discount coupons, free consultations, comparison charts, software demos, price points, free trials, loyalty programs, analysis calls, sales calls, test drives. Even a car dealership has lead magnets, and we call that a test drive. You test that car, and now there's a greater possibility that you're going to fall in love with that car. And now you're going to go, you know what? I really like this car. Another example is before we started the webinar, Tristan and I were talking about pets. If you go to the pet shop, first of all, they may do something to get you in. But if you go to the pet shop and now you might start to hold a dog or hold a cat or hold a bird, that you could almost look at that in itself also as a lead magnet, because now you're falling in love with this thing, and now or animal, and now you're like, I think I need to take this animal home. So depending on how you position it, you could look at your business and look at what you're doing and go, what could I use more effectively as a lead magnet to get people to take the action that I desire them to take? Okay. Tristan, any questions before I continue to go on?
None at the moment. Keep going.
Okay, here we go. So let's go ahead and get started. So people always go, okay, so I need to create a lead magnet. What do I do first? And I don't care what you do, what business you're in. If you don't have a foundation in place, that's usually the first place. And this is where when I start working with a new client, I start to uncover that the foundation of their business itself is not as solid as it could be. Understanding, have you really clarified your niche? Have you defined your goals, short-term and long-term, both business and marketing? Because then that determines, what lead magnet should I be creating, and where in the funnel should I be creating this lead magnet? If I don't know what my goals are and what I'm trying to achieve for my business in maybe the next 3 months or the next year, how can that, that has to be decided first, because then that's going to tell you the focus or the direction of the lead magnet you need to create. Have you truly defined your audience? Do you understand who your direct online competitors are? Because offline competitors are okay, but if we're talking about lead generation and specifically online lead generation, online competitors are different than offline competitors. Because if an offline competitor is not really doing much online, as far as I'm concerned, they're not your competitors. Because the online is the future, and it needs to be a part of your marketing strategy, and you have to start taking it seriously. You need to pick an industry leader. And why do we pick an industry leader? We pick an industry leader because an industry leader will give us the possibilities of what's possible. Where can we go? They're the one that's crushing it everywhere, and there's a lot to learn from them. So you may be, and I'll use this. I'll talk about this in SEO, search engine optimization, through the lens of that. To go, you may be doing a few hundred hits a month to your website, and your competitors may be doing 1,000 hits a month. Industry leaders doing hundreds of thousands a month, possibly millions. They're the ones you want to study, because your industry leader goes, this is where I'm headed. So that's why we want to pick an industry leader in addition to your online competitors. Then we want to really define what is your USP. And this is something I worked on last year through all of 2020 to create this unique selling proposition of who I am, who my business is, and why people would choose me and my organization over my competitors. So there are things that you can do there that, and like I said, all this becomes part of the support system that's really going to help you craft something, not only to give people what they're looking for, but then give them the trust that you are the one that can help them because of your experience, because of your connections, because of, your past performance, because of a lot of things that now can be put into your process that makes you unique from your competitors. And then what have you defined your vision, your mission, and your purpose? Wistia did an article a while back, and they said, if you want to never run out of things to talk about, don't talk about your products and services. Talk about your vision, your purpose, and your mission. You'll connect better. There's more of a story there, and you can tie it back to who you are and what you do and why you do it for people and why they should care. And a good example is that watch some of these commercials on the Super Bowl, if you're into that, and you see these car commercials or you see these insurance commercials. They're not talking to you about insurance. They're showing you a family that's happy. They're showing you, the car commercials. The road is endless, and the guy's going from one camping spot to a night out with his significant other to a this to that. They're showing you what's possible when you choose them. That's their purpose and their mission, and why they make your life better. And you, as a business owner, you make someone's life better. And when you can talk about that and then somehow insert your product in there as a tool or a solution that helps people do that, bam, now you got yourself a win-win situation. So first step is to just go back, review your foundation. Have I updated my website? Have I updated my headshots and social media? And is everything up to date? And from there, now I can start looking at what should be done. So now let's talk about the lead magnet creation process. So here's our step-by-step process. You're going to pick your main keyword around your niche, problem, or solution. And then you're going to do some keyword research. Now, I'm going to be diving a little bit, but not too much today, into the Semrush tool, because that is what I call my Swiss Army knife of digital marketing. And just a cool, quick plug for them, is you can do so much with it. And if you're creative enough, you can do a lot more. Like, I use it to create lead magnets. I don't think it was created to do that, but I saw how I could use it in that way. And then I can tie that back into all the other digital strategies that I'm doing, that I have to be doing for myself, for my clients. Then you're going to move into the topic research tool, topic related research tool. You're going to create an outline based on that information. And then you're going to decide what type of lead magnet you should create now that you have your outline. Then you're going to write that bad boy. You're going to proofread it, and then you're going to produce it. And so we're going to look at all of that today. Okay. So I'm actually going to take a break from that and actually show you. Actually, no, let me do one more thing. Let's talk about branding versus not to brand. So the question is, when should my brand name be on the cover? When should my logo be on the cover? And when should it not? And I think I had mentioned before, your branding, your logos, I usually, on the top of a funnel lead magnet, I put the logo, and on the back end, I put it on the last page. That's usually my call to action page, because on the front page should be some connection with your target audience. I recently started running a campaign for a new client we brought on. He's in the real estate space, and on the cover of his ebook was him. And he's a nice looking guy and everything, but I'm like, get that image off of there. I go, who's your target audience? Well, it's multifamily homes. It's people who want to, invest in multifamily homes. I go, then you either need to put a building on there that represents that multifamily unit they're going to buy, or you need to put a family or an individual that represents the person that you're targeting, because they need to see themselves or it that they're going to acquire to make them want to continue to move forward with you. So, but that doesn't mean you don't brand it with your color format. So you can brand it all day, but on the top of the funnel lead magnet, you're going to put that logo on the back end. In the middle of the funnel or bottom of the funnel, it becomes more about you as someone who's providing the value. Then you could possibly put that logo on the front cover. if now it makes sense to do so. But the key thing here is designing and formatting it so it flows, it looks good. You know, you want to make sure that it looks great, but you also want to make sure that it's interactive and engaging. And like I said, it is focused on your target audience. And at the end of the day, there's a well-crafted call to action at the end. If you sell t-shirts, you know, and you produce a lead magnet on, you know, the top 10 t-shirts to, you know, the top 10 branded t-shirts for 2021, at the end of it, don't talk about selling shoes and accessories. Focus on going, here's our latest collection of designer t-shirts. Keep the focus strictly on that. Get them to take that next step. And after they've either given you the email address or made a purchase, then you can start to introduce other products or services to them to get them to continue to patronize the business, and of course, build up repeat business. So now we're going to go into Semrush.
Just before we do that, Jimmy, can I jump in with a couple of questions?
Of course, sure.
Just from, and I apologize if I say this incorrectly, Somalia Dear Photography. They've asked the question, and I'm sure we can both jump in on this. How to create sales funnel for lead generation for a digital marketing agency. And then they carried on with, to generate lead magnets, what are the media which can be used for getting leads? And my point on that would be, we're kind of going through the motions at the moment, but just what you were saying in your last slide, Jimmy, is who's your target audience? Because going back to, I think it was looking at the top, middle and bottom funnels, you know, there's cheat sheets and there's all sorts of things you can create, but unless you know who your target audience is, it might, in this instance for a digital marketing agency, a cheat sheet might be a great lead magnet because it's an SEO cheat sheet or checklist or something like that. But just wondered what your thoughts sort of were.
Sure.
You know, I think, really, it is going over the first few slides of what you said of like, what are your USPs? Who are your target audience? I've probably answered all of this already.
yeah, you're absolutely right, and that's the point. You know, if you're still not sure what lead magnet to create, then you need to go back and do those initial steps, because when you know that, you understand what the issue is that your target audience is having, and now you can do some research to validate it, and that's where the Semrush tool comes into play. So I'm going to actually share. So I'm just going to walk you through a particular situation. So here is a client that we did a lead magnet for, and the lead magnet title is the 7 ways you can effectively support your student athletes for career readiness post graduation. Now, Tristan, do you think that's a pretty long title?
Sorry, I was still muted. That's no help. Yeah. Yes.
It's a very, and so he was like, man, that title is super long. I go, it is very long. I go, but you got to treat a lead magnet differently than you treat a blog post or something like that. Because do you know who this lead magnet is for?
Are you asking me or?
Yeah, well, you know who it's for.
Yeah.
You know what it does, and you know why it's important. And when you can look at those 3 things, if someone opts into this specific lead magnet, they're very targeted. You know, we're targeting with this lead magnet. It's a college market. You know, there's student athletes that the lead magnet is going to help. They're actually the directors and the assistant directors at colleges that work with student athletes, and they have to prepare these student athletes to go after to be ready for jobs after college, because most of them will not go into professional sports. So, you know, if they don't prepare them, they don't make the transition, and now they're trying to figure out what to do with their lives. So that's why this book is very focused. So when you've got 5 or 6 or 8 or 20 people opting in a day to this ebook, you've got, you're being very specific about who you're targeting. Now, here's the key thing about what happened with this book. I go, who's our target audience? They go, directors and people who have to prepare students for life that doesn't involve sports when they spent their entire college career playing sports. I said, okay, great. So we're trying to find the key phrase here. So he's like, well, I think it's directors and program directors. And we're like, no, that's not really it. Where's the student athletes? I go, no, because that's who they're trying to help. The key word here was, I go, what are we trying to help someone do? Get ready for a career. So the key word was career readiness. So that's what we built the entire ebook around, was career readiness for the people who are going to use the book for the people that they're trying to help. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I like that.
Okay. And then from there, now we can start going, okay, so what's going to be in this book? Now that we have an idea of what it is. Now, we didn't have the title. We didn't do the title. We never write our titles until we complete the outline and we actually pretty much write the book. So next thing you know, so we did a little research on career readiness. And, so we can see it has 1,300 searches a month, because this is where the tool, or a tool like Semrush, comes in. We want to find where's the value, where's the nuggets. If there's zero search on anything that we're trying to use as the main umbrella of our topic, why are we trying to create that if there's no search on it? You might as well build a castle in the middle of the desert. So a tool like this helps us make sure that we write content that people are already searching for, but position our book so it can be in the way, or not even that it be in the way. This lets us know that this is the conversation people are having already, and we can meet them halfway. Okay. So then when I click through, and then I see college and career readiness pops up, and it has even more search than here. Now, granted, 1.6K is not a lot of search, but it's very specific. And because it's very specific, we know that if I can get one of these people on the phone with me, I have a 50% close rate. That's not me, that's my client. So now 1,600 searches a month if I can get 1 to 2 clients a month out of that, that's fantastic. That's a fantastic return. So we start there. So we go, okay, career readiness is it. Now what I want to do is I want to build an outline around career readiness. And so I just picked the number out of my head. And I said, and I actually had a conversation a while back with, I forget his name, one of your guys, Tristan, in Semrush, at Semrush. And he goes, the magic number when you're producing a blog post with kind of like a listicle or a number of steps is 7 or 8. So I said, okay, 7. Our magic number is 7. We want 7 things that a director can do to help his students get ready to be career ready after graduation. So I said, we need 7 topics. So the next thing we did was we popped career readiness into the topic research tool. And then the topic research tool spits out all these subtopics. Our job at this point is to sift through here and see. So we got soft skills and look at the questions that are being asked. The what questions, the two questions that matter. I'm going to zoom in on this a little bit. The two types of questions that matter the most to me when I'm trying to create these ebooks are the what questions and the hows. Why do I do that? Because the what questions, people want to know what, but they pay for the how. I'm gonna say it again. People don't pay for the what, they pay for the how. So I'll position what questions to go, what is it? And then I'll position how questions to how do you do it? And then you have to use your discretion about how much you want to indulge in regards to how you do it, so you can still get them to want to call you. So we went here and we liked, okay, this is a great topic for us to talk about, soft skills. Let's look at another category. Okay, here's career management. No. Job market. No. Real world. We're like, all right, these are college students going into the real world. So this is a great subtopic. Okay. Career ready assessment. So now we're getting some ideas. And then when we go into it, we can look at these questions. What is work readiness and why is it important? Is it possible to get an online degree and work with it? No, but I might add this one. Now I'm just collecting questions, and sometimes I'll even collect an actual headline from one of the top 10 topics because I like it, because I might want to refer to that article in my ebook. Now you see how this thing is starting to build out. Now let's look at the outline. So from that, we were able to create this outline right here. So we chose mental health, career readiness, transferable skills, personal development, 4 corners. Now, 4 corners was his own thing, so he had to write that himself. Daily Trifecta was also his. We had athlete identity, and we had why every student should have a podcast. So we popped in once we got some topic ideas. We pulled in some questions, and then we even did some research on each one of these inside of the Semrush tool. And now look at all the questions we have for each one. So now we can focus that particular paragraph or paragraphs only on that section in relationship to career readiness for student athletes after they graduate. Now we've got the outline. Now we can go ahead and start creating the book. Once we start doing that, and then we added some interactive elements to it. We're like, hey, let's do 5 resource tools that student athletes can be using. What is this good for? This is good for adding a little extra to the book, but also it could also add some revenue for you because some of these products can be affiliate links. Okay. And if you've got a ton of people downloading your ebook, there's another opportunity for you to even monetize the ebook that you're giving away for free. Okay. So we made some notes. So here's all our notes. So now we went back and now we can start writing this. Now there's 2 ways we can do it. We can either just write it based on this or something I recently just did with a client. We did this same process, but instead of us just giving it to one of our writers and having the writer write it, I actually interviewed her and asked her the questions in real time in each section. And so I could get more of her take on it versus having a writer just write it. And then she has to interject her thoughts into it later. And then, so after it was an hour conversation, and then we recorded it, and then we transcribed it, and then we edited that down. And now we had the initial copy for the ebook as well. So there's so many ways you can use to do that. So now let's take a look at the final book. So if we come here and we look at the book, we had the book professionally designed. And so here you go, your 7 ways to effectively support your student athletes for career readiness post-graduation. There's the paragraph he wrote. Now, this is where you can start to get extremely creative. I said to him, I go, you know what would be really cool? I said, let's include the actual questions we use to write the book. And I said, why would we do that? I said, because if we're trying to appeal to program directors or student athlete directors, and if we can show them, hey guys, in relationships, here are the questions that are being asked of student athletes in regards to mental health in relationship to athletes, student athlete development. Here are the questions. What that's doing is that's going, yeah, I get this question all the time. And 2 is letting them know that you're aware of it and that at the end of the day, if it's in your book, you probably have the answer to that. You are a support system to these professionals that are trying to help these students. Now you're even positioning yourself even better. And now to make it more interactive, he has a podcast. So in this particular topic around career readiness, he had an article, he had a podcast article. So we included that in here. A podcast recording that was specific so they can continue to dive deeper, start to brand, get more of his brand. And now you've got an ebook that's just really interactive. And we've gotten tremendous feedback on this book. And at the end, there's this call to action, give your student athletes the winning edge, and understand I'm still not talking about him. I'm always keeping the conversation about the prospect and their goal and what their goal is so they can continue to be engaged with this until we get to the point where, hey, you need to book a free consultation with me. And now that I've given you all this great information, let's see if I can be of a support to you and we can move forward. So that's how we would leverage this. And then we added this page recently because he wanted to add some more stuff. So that's one example of how we would leverage going from coming up with the concept to building out an outline using the Semrush tool and finding the right questions to writing a book, because we're looking for questions that these here represent the questions that people are already asking online. So how can you go wrong when you're using the exact language of the people that are trying to find the answers to that you consider your target audience? So now you're no longer creating in a vacuum, and now this book is really hitting home with people. And then after you create the book, then you focus on creating the landing page. And so now what we decided to do is, after we got the book out, we did a soft launch of the book to his internal list and some of his partners. And I said, the objective here is we want direct feedback on the book. And as we got the feedback back, we started adding the feedback to the page for, social proof. So now what others are saying about the book. So you got someone from the NCAA, person. You got someone here. You got a student. You got a football coach. You got a former basketball player. So now so when people read this and they're in this space, they're going, wow, I think I need to get this book because I respect this person. Or I may not know this person, but I understand the position that he holds. And if he can find value, I can find value. And the key is you now producing a book that has true value. Okay. Now the question is it a checklist? Is it an ebook? And so this is, this particular book is pretty light. It's not, we're talking about mental health, but it's only a single paragraph. But it could be 2 paragraphs. This could be 20 pages long if they wanted it to. But I said, let's keep it short enough where they can read it fast and then determine, I think I need more. Okay. Any questions, Tristan, before I keep going?
Yes, I don't know whether it's actually kind of nicely tied into this because it's a question on seasonality. And I assume, this, I guess, is slightly seasonal because people are graduating each year. So, people will be looking at this ebook maybe for the following year. I'm not sure if I've got that correct. But
right.
Matthew Vlogel has asked, how much does seasonality / sales cycles affect lead magnet generation, like in an industry that might be slow moving and take a long time for approval of your plan / execution? So that's what I was just wondering with this, whether this was a constant product or a seasonal product because of when people are graduating. Sure.
Well, this is how you have to look at it. And this is where you might have to evaluate your industry itself. But to me, this has no expiration date. Why? Because if you're trying to prepare your students for graduation just before graduation, you're late to the party.
Exactly.
This is an ongoing situation. And more importantly than that, this is relationship building. Just like you said, link building. We need to establish relationships with for him, with these coaches and whatnot, because they may book you out a year in advance. They might not, you need to be scheduled to be coming in. If that's your business model, is you're coming in and you're coaching you're running coaching programs or personal development programs. That's a year-long process. You need to build a relationship. So now you're top of mind. So prime example, I'm working on a program in the school system around digital marketing. We're engaging now, not for the end of this year because it's too late, but for fall 2021. So you just got to figure out, it's always about relationship building. They may not engage with you for a while, but they need to be digesting content and seeing you as an authority, period.
Yeah, definitely. And just being aware that you exist and you're in this space. So yeah, definitely. Yep. And we just got another quick question from Laura McAdams saying, when we were looking at the keywords to be picked, how broad should the keyword be? i.e., I'm a caterer, but it's inherently a local biz.
Yeah. And the top of the funnel keyword, it should be broader at the top, meaning at the top of the funnel. So if you're a caterer, maybe, catering is a huge door, a huge keyword, but maybe you're a specific type of caterer, which is, for example, you could look at it from a standpoint of, are you a caterer for a specific industry? If you cater to the film and television community, well, that could be your top of the line keyword, and then you build then your outline starts under that. If you cater to anybody, well, then that becomes your top of the line keyword. At the end of the day, you're not necessarily writing it. You're writing the ebook based on keyword research that we typically use for SEO purposes or paid ad purposes, but you're using it so you can stay on focus on what people are actually searching online. But you're still going to have to create traffic sources for that. Now, those traffic sources, we're going to talk about that in a little bit, come in 5 different ways when we talk about online. So I'm not going to go into it, but you pick where your top level is. And that's why you want to define your niche, because your niche may not be catering. Your niche may be movie and film and movie catering. And that's as high as you go. And then you go down from there.
Well, I was just thinking off the top of my head, so if maybe if, depending on what catering company you run, you might be specific to particular dietary requirements or lifestyles, whether you're like vegan or you do a lot of gluten-free catering. And then, I mean, that just opens it up again, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because you really specific,
Yeah. And the more specific, and that's why that title is so long. Because we're being very specific. We know what we're doing, career readiness, but who's it for? And what is the outcome? And when we add all that together, it's now talking to a specific type of person. Career readiness could mean so many different things for so many different people. But this is specifically not students, but student athletes. The student body is a lot larger than the student athlete body. But we don't want the student body. We want the student athletes. So you need to pick what that top keyword is and then match it with everything else. And then you're going to formulate that great topic. And now you know what you need to start to build around. So, all right. So I'm going to go back into the presentation because, like I said, I can get lost in this. So we can, I can stick to that hour and we can continue this conversation. Okay. So the lead magnet landing page, I kind of showed you what one looks like, but the key here now is to, when you're creating the landing page for the lead magnet, because you don't create any of this, you don't create these additional assets until after you have the book. Why? Because the book tells you everything that goes in the landing page, everything that goes into your email nurture sequence, everything that goes into your ad campaigns or your outreach to your partners. If there's not a full alignment with that ebook, there's going to be some upset people downloading the book. And we've had this situation. I didn't write the book. The client wrote their book and the book didn't. And we just did the campaigns around the book. We did a great job generating leads. What was the problem? The book didn't live up to what people expected. So we came in and we helped them update the book. And now the book represents what is being promoted. So that's the key. That's why the book has to come first. Okay, so you craft the attention-getting headline. You list the benefits and results. I do this thing called features, benefits, results. People tend to focus more on features. The book is blue. That's a feature. What's the benefit of it being blue? The benefit of it being blue is it's the most attractive color on the planet. Well, what's the result of it being the most attractive color? It gets the most interaction. So the result, either the benefit or the result, is your list of why they should do something versus what it is. Because they don't make the connection to what it is. They make the connection to the result that they want to achieve because of it. Okay. Include some visual elements, video if all possible. If not, elements of the book or elements of someone winning or being the person that you're trying to attract. And then, keeping that fillable form above the fold, at all possible. They don't have to scroll. They can immediately opt in or they can scroll down to get more information about that. So here's a couple of examples. One is for a chiropractor. The other one is for a speech therapist. Look at the speech therapist title. Learn how you can excel. The ebook is called 16 Tips to Excel on the Phone. But the line that we want to use to get them caught on is learn how you can excel at leaving powerful voice messages with these 16 steps, because, you want the callback. And this is geared towards, people who are on the phone a lot, so you're looking at these so that you really want to pull out from the book. What are the benefits? You will learn to leave a great impression every time you leave a message. Increase the number of callbacks from your prospect. Get help building more clarity and confidence as a professional. So that's what the book promises. It doesn't say, there's 16 steps and, and this and that. It talks about what are the results. You're going to leave a great impression with a voicemail. And that doesn't sound like it's always an easy thing to do. Okay. So let's keep going. Then you're going to make sure that you create some kind of really cool thank you page, because here's an opportunity while they're hot. You keep going. So and sometimes instead of just having it just go, your lead magnet will be delivered after they signed in, you've got their attention. Create an actual thank you page, put a video on there, thank them for signing up, and with the expectations of what is next. You can now send them to a specific page that may have a video and go, hey, I'm glad you decided to download our book. Here's what I'd like you to do next. Follow us on social media. And actually we have an upcoming webinar. So if you really want to solve this problem sooner or later, why don't you register? Now you're pushing them further down your journey with a second lead magnet that goes deeper. And now not everybody's going to take advantage of that, but a handful of them might. Okay, so you can include a link to a bribe or an upsell on that thank you page. Take advantage of the opportunity. Okay, the email nurture sequence. Immediately an email should go out thanking them again and giving them an additional link to the lead magnet. You need to include that and then add them to your email nurture sequence, whether it's MailChimp, ActiveCampaign, Infusionsoft, whatever you're using, and get them started. And get them actively doing something in the ebook. Don't start talking about other topics. Keep that entire 3 to 5 email nurture sequence specifically about that lead magnet. Help them solve that problem, or get on the phone with you, or schedule a consultation with you, or fill out a form for you to get back to them on that one thing. And the more you stay focused on what started the conversation in the first place, the higher your conversions can be. And then you continue to tweak it by looking at your numbers, looking at your conversions on the landing page, looking at your interactions in your emails nurture sequences, seeing what links they're clicking on, and make modifications until you can get this thing to the point where you can't optimize it anymore. Okay. Traffic sources. Let's talk about the sources. So if we talk about online, and I'm going to mention one or two offline, you got direct traffic. That means they know your website address already. You got referral traffic. This is now that backlink building where you got such a great resource that other websites are linking to you as a resource for a specific topic, hopefully around the keyword that you chose. In this instance, it would be career readiness. Search traffic. That's your search engine optimization. Now, how do you get search traffic? Now, the landing page tends to be anemic. What do I mean by that? There's usually not a lot of copy. You're being very specific about the copy, and the copy is built around what the book's about. What you can do is start to create a series of blog posts that are written, that are SEO optimized, maybe on certain topics in the ebook. Get those on your website, optimize them so they could be used for search. And then the call to action on those blog post pages is download our complete ebook on career readiness if you're ready to solve this problem or achieve this goal. So that's how search starts to play, starts to play as a source of traffic, and understanding if you have no traffic on your website and no authority, that's going to take a while to build up. You have to go with number 4. That's paid traffic. And that's where a lot of clients that I'm working with are doing paid traffic, because it's the quickest way to get a lead in the door. The problem with paid ads, which is it's a faucet. You turn it on, you got leads coming in. You turn it off, you have no leads. So you do a combination of paid and search. So you build up your search. As your search starts to dominate, you could put more of your paid ad dollars into other forms of keywords or other strategies that can drive more traffic where you are weak in regards to search. And then we have social traffic, sharing it on your social media channels. Yes.
Just before you jump into social, we actually have a question that links into number 4 quite nicely. Yep. From Somalia, the photography. So they're asking Facebook ads, Google ads, or LinkedIn ads, which is good for reaching out to people for sales funnels. I think it depends, but I'm just going to pose that to you as we just covered paid traffic.
Yeah, and I know you're a paid traffic expert. If you want to jump in on that, I'll give you my opinion. My opinion is you still got to know where your audience is. Is your audience on LinkedIn? Is your audience on Facebook? Is your audience on Twitter? You know, and like I said, it always still goes back to where is your audience, which you should know from building your foundation. And then from there, we determine, okay, this is the right platform for us.
Yeah, I second that. And just to add a little bit more to it, it's I think this person was alluding to sort of digital marketing agency sales or lead magnet funnels. And, you know, whether it's Facebook, Google or LinkedIn, you've got to do your research on who your target audience is. Because, yes, you know, say as an example, LinkedIn's a more of a professional social network. But, you know, what caliber of client, I guess, as a digital marketing agency are you looking for? Are you looking for hundreds of dollars a month they're spending, or are you looking for hundreds of thousands of dollars a month? And so you need all those pieces of information to go out before you start putting ads out there. You know, understand what you're going out to hunt. Because I've seen a lot of people, you know, from different companies to different sizes to individuals, trialing all sorts of different ways. You know, some sort of Facebook engagement's really great for particular types of customers, whereas, you know, you're more maybe, I don't know, I'm sort of speaking out of turn, but yeah, other types of clients or caliber of clients maybe hanging out on LinkedIn ads. So yeah, really, who you targeting, really specifically who you targeting, not just somebody who wants to buy SEO services. You know, you've really got to nail that down before you go, cool, I'm just going to sell SEO services and I'm going to sell them across the board. And we hope that we'll get some work for that. It doesn't work like that. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on that.
Exactly. And an agency, and I think agencies have such an advantage because you're trying to, you know, you need to practice what you preach. You know, if you're an agency, you need to be doing these things. You need to have lead magnets. And the key is you're not using just one. You don't put all your eggs in one basket. If you have SEO services, you could produce 5 different lead magnets on 5 different aspects of SEO. You know, either break it down on a very granular level or do an overview of everything you need to know about SEO for small businesses, or everything you need to know about SEO for the healthcare industry. Like I said, you can get as niched as you want. The more niche, the more focused, the smaller the audience, but the higher the value of the client.
Yeah, and the impact as well, isn't it?
Yes. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So, just to say, we've been sent a virtual hug from Somali to Photography for answering all those questions.
You
so
got
share
it,
that
Somali.
with you, Jimmy.
And one thing I'm going to add to this that's not on here, which I probably should add, and that's your partnership, because that's kind of referral, but referral is when somebody gives you a backlink. Partnerships is where you build a relationship with another organization, and then they promote your offer or your lead magnet to their network directly. And I have had tremendous success with this. And I've also, have a good weekend. Thanks a lot. I've also co-produced books with partners, bigger partners. This is where you can swim upstream. So, you know, one thing that everybody struggles with is creating content. So if you can become good at creating content, it doesn't matter what you do. If you can become good at creating content for your industry, you are valuable to a lot of people that are not competitors, but strategic partners that you can go, hey, we're going to write this ebook. It has to be educational, not salesy. And we'd like to partner with you and include you in the ebook and then give you a call to action. And now they're going to go, great, this is fantastic. I get a great book. And then it's going to live on your funnel. And then they're going to promote it. They're going to get great. What's in it for them? They get great content to deliver to their audience. What's in it for you? You get exposure to an audience that is your target audience. So don't sleep on partnerships. Are probably my best form of creating things that introduce me to more and new audiences. So I'm going to keep going here. So launch, promote, and analyze. So you review and fully test your funnel before you launch it. I don't know how many times people have launched. I had a client just recently. We started doing SEO for her. So she went ahead and built a new website, and I said, okay, whenever you're ready, make it live, and then we'll start optimizing it. but she never completed the payment process structure. And we didn't know this until our call. We're like, so she was asking the code. We're like, we don't understand. She's like, oh, well, I never really connected the payment. I go, so you have booking things on your site, but you don't have the payment connected, and we're already preparing to drive traffic. She goes, yeah. I go, that's important information that we needed to know. So test everything to make sure it works. Opt into your own email sequence. Make sure the emails are triggering. Click through to every aspect of your funnel before it goes live. Test those hyperlinks. Make sure they work. And then, then launch and do your thing. So test it and launch, and then analyze. What are the key performance indicators? What do you qualify as a success? Is it more leads? Is it phone calls? Is it bookings? Is it sales? It could be any of these things, but just clarify what that is so you know how well you're doing. Make adjustments. If you're using the right type of tool, A/B test. A/B test means you can run 2 different variations of a landing page or an email sequence or even the book. So you can see which one converts better, declare a winner, and then move on from there. And that's part of how you optimize for conversions. Okay. Here's a few lead magnet do's and don'ts. Do make it interactive and engaging. Have a clear goal for the end user. Be hyper-focused. So more hyper-focused you can be, the better. And have your unique spin on the whole topic. Don't just produce an ebook that's just bland. Add into it what you do. Or how you take on that process, how you view it. That's how you make it unique. Some don'ts: don't make it information only. If you're doing an ebook about personal development and your topic 1 is, to look inside yourself. Well, give them an exercise at the end of that. So you explained what it is. Now go, what are the 6 things you see when you look inside yourself? Now they're going, oh, okay, let me think about it. You're engaging them. Don't make the topics too vague. Try to be more specific with the topics and make sure that there's real value, and offer an aligning call to action. So whatever the call to action needs to be, it has to be based on what they read and why it's obvious that's the next step. Okay. So here's a few examples. I'm going to blow through these real quick so we can end. So you looked at that ebook. Here's a checklist from the same guy. And it's just, the Student Athlete Podcast launch checklist. Who's this for? Student athletes. What is it? A launch checklist for what? Podcasting. Okay. And it's those 6 steps. It's just 8 steps. So it's very basic, but it's a checklist. This is the how. This is why they would pay them. I could tell them why they need a podcast, or I can show them the checklist so they can make sure they have everything on the checklist. That's the how. That's what they want to pay for. And then there's the call to action. He's got a webinar and he's got the program. Typically, we only do 1, but we decided that on this particular one, it's a low barrier cost to get into the program. Or maybe they want to do the webinar because they want to get more information before they sign up for the program. Here's one from 6 natural ways to block your hair loss hormones and regain healthy growth. Okay. Anybody can, create, you just got to know who your target audience. Here's one we did in French. I don't speak French, but we were able to create this lead magnet. So I have no clue what I'm reading, but, based on how we worked together, we were able to create the lead magnet that they wanted. So I can't even tell you what these topics are about. I don't know. Okay. Here's an actual one from a online e-commerce store, the ultimate survival gear list. So they made it easy for them to get everything they need to be out in the wilderness and survive. So, so it could be, if you're an e-commerce store or if you sell products online, whatever it is, you can create something that just makes it easier for them to put together their entire process. And that's the how. You're providing a lot of great value. So here's one that we just did. First Time Dads, the Unexpected Father's Weekly Guide to Pregnancy. This is crazy. It's great. So this just gives you an idea of some of the things. So to end this out, we're going to see if we have any more questions, but I'm considering doing a lead magnet clinic. So if anybody's interested in a clinic, it's a half-day event that we'll be doing sometime in April. you can go to jimmynewson.com/lead magnet clinic and sign up, and we'll reach out to you and let you know when we schedule the actual clinic. And we'll actually walk you through. At the end of the clinic, you should have at least the outline for your lead magnet. And then you can move on with the process of what to complete it. The hardest part is always getting started. And so this is what we help you do with this here at this clinic, is to help you get started to create your lead magnet, find out what your topic is, find out what your subtopics are, find out the questions being asked. And now you have that initial outline here that now you can go, now I know what I should be talking about. Let me go and build this thing. What resources should I use? Is it internally or is it externally in regards to getting this book created? Okay. Q&A time. Quick thing. If you guys are interested in the Semrush platform, if you don't already have it or you need to upgrade, I use the content marketing suite, and they have all of them. And you can get a free trial. We're going to be sending out the slide deck so you can have a direct link, or you can just go straight to Semrush and check it out there and get your free trial there. And that is my presentation. And, like I said, you can connect with me directly. You can Google my name as an SEO myself. I own the first 5 to 8 pages of the word Jimmy Newson.
I can second that. I Googled you earlier, Jimmy, and that is correct.
Oh, yeah, I'm not playing around here. So that's it. So I'll open it back up for any questions until we have to close this bad boy out.
Awesome. So we do have a few questions. I've already sort of responded to one because I'm not sure we've got time, but can you explain more about how to partner with other organizations, which you were discussing earlier? Or is that something that you're covering in your lead magnet clinic? I feel like it's quite a big topic.
It is a big topic, and I will cover it. I wasn't planning because we're actually we need to develop something on it. Yeah. When we look at partners, we want to look at people who share our same audience, but are not competitors. So, for me, Semrush is a great partner. I use the tool religiously, and it helps me help my clients. And so I use a number of SaaS products to help me help my clients. Those to me make great partners, because what happens with software? Most people use software like they use their brain, 8%. So my job is to help you use it at a higher rate. So you get more out of it. So that's a great partnership. Colleges, schools, any organization that deals with small businesses, they have my target audience. So I'll do eBooks, co-write eBooks or webinars or things like that. So you have to look at your industry and go, and I would probably start with looking at industry trade organizations, because I usually have a list of all these companies that want to either exhibit or want to have a booth, want to sponsor, and see, is this company more of a competitor or more of a potential strategic partnership? And then reach out to them. And when you're reaching out to them, you have to provide the value. You have to figure out what it is that you can bring to the table on their behalf. You don't want to leave it up to them to figure it out, because that's not what they're going to do. You figure it out and then you present it. I'm presenting some projects right now to Google, to MasterCard, and a few others. Now, these guys are big, big fish. But I'm making it my point to go, here's where I think you're lacking. Here's how I can help you. And here's how it doesn't require you or your team to have to do much or anything. We're doing all that for you. Why am I doing that? That's an investment. And it will also give me the opportunity to provide so much value in advance. The next thing you know, they're calling me up and going, hey, we're working on this thing, and we actually want to partner with you now. So I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, I love that bit on saying where you were talking about putting in like an investment piece to then see more out of it afterwards. It's something we do here at Purple Smudge and whatnot, that sometimes it's not always about, make the lead magnet and you get leads and you'll get clients or paid from that. You've got to put in sort of a series of processes to kind of, build those relationships and get to that point. Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Just quickly, whilst we're just winding up the webinar today, I can still see there's probably about 100 people watching. If we could get a little thumbs up, a like, that would be awesome. Jimmy, in what platform did you create those ebooks? Was it something like InDesign, or was it a website you went to and you just plugged it in?
We use InDesign. Everything is created from scratch. There are some tools out there that you can use. And I've used some of them, and they'll take your blog posts and they'll optimize it and make it into. But those things they just look cheesy, or they just don't cut the mustard.
You want the control.
You want the control, and you really want, and even you can go to Upwork or Fiverr. I mean, just hire someone to make that ebook look great. But the key is not necessarily just the ebook; is how you format it. Make the book about the person. Make sure you got a strong call to action at the end of the ebook that's aligned to something. The ebook is only part of the system.
Awesome. Well, we are over the hour, Jimmy. I don't know whether there was any last points you wanted to wrap up with. I've enjoyed myself. It's been a knowledge pack session. We've had some great feedback from the audience. You've already know where to go and find Jimmy. If anyone has any questions for myself, I'd be happy to answer those. Just take my name, Tristan Jarman, and again, Google me. I think I'm literally the only person in the world with this name, so that's pretty sick.
Lucky you.
Yeah, I know. But yes, any last points before we wrap up, Jimmy?
Yeah, no, the key here is, if you don't have a lead magnet, just start with one. Don't worry about it trying to be perfect. Just get yourself into a position to go, let me find something of value. Use some tool. Use Google, use, if you need some keyword ideas, Google Keyword Planner is free, but just get started. If you have lead magnets, review them and see value. If you haven't asked people to give you feedback on them, start reaching out to people that have downloaded the book and go, I love your feedback, so I can get some insight on, do I need to rewrite this book, or can I use your feedback to help other people determine how great this ebook is?
Awesome. And just one last cheeky plug from me. If anyone is interested in joining me for a webinar next week, I'm going to be presenting another SEO Toolbox session of live site audits, where we'll be selecting someone's site and auditing it live. This will be the 4th, 5th or 6th one we've done. But yes, I'll put the link in there if anyone wants to join. Jimmy, it's been an absolute pleasure to host for you again. I love doing it. And to the audience, you've been great as well. So for now, I bid you all farewell. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world. But bye for now.
Take care, guys.